follows a very similar pattern. It's all going to see the same additional flash screen. When you first start the room, you won't really have any functionality until you choose what you want to do. So it's just the television in there right now. We have the audio control. There are lapel mics for each room. This is considered the dance and exercise room. They're both the same setup for each room. From here we have a Blu-ray player. It's playing. We'll have audio functionality on the right side. I'll go ahead and mute right in the middle. You get a volume level up and down. It's pretty basic. There'll eventually be a cable box. There'll be a switch over here. It'll turn to a cable television once that's on there. Fortunately, there's not going to be functionality for the cable box. If there is a cable box, you'll have to use some kind of third-party remote on that. Secondary, there is computer inputs located below here. You can plug VGA, HDMI 3.5, and USB 3.0 if you have that available. It's pretty basic. Just plug it in, play it. There's additional audio inputs that you can actually choose with the microphone audio availability as well, as you can hear me talking.
Hey Doug, just keep in mind, it's pretty basic for you, but not for everybody
Oh,
in this room.
sorry. Okay, yeah, so if you guys are doing like classes and whatnot, you'll have the lapel mic on. If you guys need to control how loud the volume is, you'll go to the audio settings tab and just adjust it right there. If you guys decide you're gonna bring in your own like audio player device, there's a 3.5 and an RCA jack. That's what these guys are right here. Just go and plug into them, and then you just choose either one or the other. And then if you're gonna use the video, that's gonna be under computer. So they're labeled right here, as you can see, computer plate, and then audio input. So you'll want to hit computer or audio. And then for regular Blu-ray movies, like I said, once again, you'll just go ahead and select Blu-ray, standard functionality. If you want to hit play.
Where's the Blu-ray?
It'll just be the Blu-ray tab right here.
Under the front desk.
Oh, so yeah, it's actually in the MDF, far back in the other room. That's what I was out there doing. You guys heard me earlier. Sorry, the multimedia room. What would be?
Parquet room, the big room.
It's right behind the front desk office right there, or behind the bathroom, I should say.
Yeah, you
in the
need a
front.
key card to get into it. It's one of the. It's a little room.
Can you show us that little?
We'll walk by it.
Yeah, we can walk by. So just so you know, the dance and exercise room are both located in that same room right there. There are two Blu-ray players, one above the top and one below. So this, I think, I get confused. This is either dance or this is exercise.
This is group exercise.
This is exercise?
Yeah.
So this is the exercise room. So the exercise room is actually the top DVD player. And you'll see inside there it's labeled, I believe this is room 122.
Could be.
I think so.
Okay, so you'll see it in there, it's labeled 122. So if you do need to change out a DVD, Blu-ray, whatever, that's where you'll go and change that. Other than that, you shouldn't have to go back there for anything else. Everything's controllable from right here. At the end of the day, when you're done, just go ahead and hit the power button at the bottom. It says shut down. It'll ask you if you want to confirm you want to shut it down. Go ahead and say yes. And at that point, the audio will cut out. You'll still have your microphone capabilities if you do choose to use them, but there is also an additional off and on button on the microphone.
Okay, so I'm a dummy. So
No, it's fine.
you have the microphone, right? You put it on. You turn on the little box, and then what do you do? How do you get to work?
You turn it on. The microphone's always on as soon as you turn it on.
Okay. Oh, it's not connected.
So
there.
on here you'll actually, so the microphone will override. You'll have the audio to be able to play, so you can talk if you're watching a video, if you have a group exercise video or something going on the screen.
Okay.
You can be able to speak over it if you want to give some instructions or something like that.
Okay.
In that manner. There is the volume capabilities on the audio tab that allows you to go ahead and ramp up the volume of the microphone and ramp it down. So if you have a loud work group going on, you want to go ahead and raise up the volume, you can go ahead and do that there. So you guys will see that probably about 4 or 5 more times for the rest of the rooms here. So let's
Are these in all
let's
the
work.
rooms?
What's that?
Are these in all the rooms?
These are in currently most of the fitness room, dance and exercise, lounge, auditorium, and then the classrooms will have a similar setup, but they don't have microphones. But it's the same basic functionality. You'll have a Blu-ray player in all the rooms, and you'll have a wall input labeled computer. All right, well, let's maybe walk next door.
Do we have the inputs for computers or like a phone or something like that?
The cables.
Yeah, the cables that we go on.
So I don't know if we're providing those or if we
I don't
can
think so.
plug those in.
You would just have your own cable to plug.
Yeah,
in
if you
the
bring
computer.
it, just bring a VGA cable or whatever you're going to plug into HDMI,
Okay.
and then you can switch over to it.
Okay.
Order sets for each room.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
Correct. Yeah. So depending on what you want to do, yeah.
Yesterday I was a treat too.
I just
Yeah, and then plug it in right there.
I know
And you'll
TV
plug in a
is like
computer there. And then
Supposed to hear it on last.
It is the 4th of July.
will be the next one.
This room does not have a microphone attached to it, but as you'll see, the touchscreens very similar to the one in the other room. They're all about the same size. Some of them just have a little more functionality than others. So when you first start up, you'll get the displays to turn on. And you can also choose with each display, once you turn it on, which display you want to control. So from, let's say we want to go to display 1, and we want to watch our Blu-ray. We'll have our Blu-ray functionality, which I believe I have a Blu-ray in there. It's showing up green right now for some reason. Come on. Make sure it's not on cable.
That's what always happens when I touch this stuff too.
Right.
So you have dual functionality. Yeah. Okay, there we go. It just took a second for it to load up. And from here, it's the same type of functionality in the other room. You got your basic Blu-ray, fast forward, rewind, pause, play, stop, forward slow, backward slow, top menu stop. What I've noticed on a lot of the Blu-rays, if you can't get it to play when you get to the original DVD menu, you have to hit OK, because it's a functionality issue on most Blu-ray players. So if you're not hitting OK and you're trying to hit play on the screen, it actually won't play. And it's a function of the DVD player. So moving up from there. Same volume control functionality. I do have it paused right now, so we can kind of, if you ramp up, same type of volume issues. Same thing in every room is going to be pretty similar on that. Go ahead and mute that so it's not too loud. Each display in this room, we don't have individual control of each display. So this room, basically, you'll have all of the TVs can play the Blu-ray audio will play through the ceiling, and then each TV will have its own cable box, and that actually will, I don't know how we're gonna, somehow there's gonna be audio followed off from there. So basically, you won't be able to play audio from the cable box back to the unit here. So just keep that in mind when you guys, somebody's watching television or something like that, that's not going to be the functionality of the overhead speaker. So also the overhead speakers, we do have the speaker audio section the same way over here. We have 2 jacks, a 3.5 millimeter standard headset jack that you would like plug in from your phone right into it, like in your car, and then additional RCA input. So if you guys want to bring something that requires you know, left and right analog audio, you can plug right into there. And you just have to select your audio source selection right here on the audio source like you would as if you were playing it from a computer input, but we do not have computer source input on this one. And then standard at the end of the day, if you want to make sure everything gets shut down, and auto shutdown will shut down all of the displays at the same time. Individually, you can actually also, I should show you, at the bottom there is a power on and off display functionality. So it'll show you the current status of the display, whether it's powered on or powered off. So let's say you know, teaching somebody some class over there in the corner and you don't want to have TVs on, you can manually make sure go and shut those ones off. So that's pretty much functionality for this room. We can move on to the next one, on the next room type, and show you guys from there. But any questions so far on the?
We don't mess with that at all? That's just for putting
This
in
box?
the Blu-ray and not?
No, not necessarily needing a chair. It's literally just for putting the Blu-ray on. So by the way, this is where you put the Blu-ray in.
For this room?
For this room.
Not
And this is just the
perfection.
fitness, yeah. So dance and exercise are going to be in the room just behind the bathroom right there that requires the key card, and the Blu-ray player for this room is going to be the same. They're all the same type of Blu-ray functionality. Just got to hit the eject button, pop it in. Kind of takes a second, but it'll be the same in every room. So we can walk by the MDF real quick and kind of show them that real quick. And
Would I ever need to power that down?
what's that?
Would I ever need to power that off?
No, you would. When you power off the room functionality, basically just cuts off the audio, so the Blu-ray player doesn't need to do anything. It'll go to standby mode.
Okay.
And that's the same for all the Blu-rays. The dance room has the same exact functionality as the other room in here. We can kind of pop in here real quick so you can just see where the touch panel is. It's right around the corner over here. So just like the other room, this room you have an additional lapel mic that'll be attached so you can control the microphone audio for teaching classes and doing like lessons or seminars. Then you also have the additional computer input plates right here. So you have the same setup, USB 3.0, 3.5 coming in from the VGA. If you're using the VGA connection, these actually tie together so that if you can want to carry audio, you'll need to plug the additional 3.5 jack in there. Not to be confused with this one, which I probably should have mentioned in the other room. Those are two separate sources when you're on audio, because this is actually considered a computer input for the VGA. And then you have your standard HDMI, which comes out of most typical newer computers these days.
So if an instructor were to come in and want to play their music off their iPod, and then they could also wear the cordless mic and have their music playing.
Oh yeah, no, you'll have the functionality to do both at the same time. And the idea is so that you guys can put on like a workout video in the background or have something going on. And you'll just want to control that through the audio section. Functionality in this room, other than that, it's the same exact as the other room. VGA, like I said, if you do use USB 3.0, there is a capability. Some people do use it a lot more. It does carry audio over the cable. So it's getting more and more popular, but not as much these days. We can, but it's, I mean, like I said, probably by like day 2, you guys are going to be pumping through it. You know, it's not going to probably be too much. Hopefully.
There's not just like only use it once or twice a year, so we'll just pull from the staff, who knows?
Yeah, and like I said, I could probably put something together that's real quick and just kind of punches through it a little bit. Just kind of shows you what the button page layout says. You know, what you want to control.
We got a yes, please, from one of the.
Yes,
volunteers.
please. All right. Well, okay.
Cheat sheets.
Yes.
Cheat sheets are always fun. You do have a settings tab, which I don't know if I went over in the other one. It doesn't really have much in this room, just because we have the power on for the television. That's it.
So settings is how to turn the TV on?
Settings is just additional TV power on.
Okay.
So if for some reason you want to play a source through your computer and you don't want to listen, or you don't want to have the video on at the same time, you just want to listen to the audio coming over it, you can power off the TV manually. So other than that, this is the same room as that room. So everything that happens in that room can happen in this room. And there'll be a separate microphone, so you'll have to make sure that you guys have the right microphone for the right room. Otherwise, you'll hear me talking in another room like you did earlier. So, and once again, at the end of the day, you want to make sure you shut it down.
Where are the mics?
The microphones, I don't know, they'll probably be located in the rooms. I
Yeah, we just
imagine.
haven't handed them over yet.
Okay.
Because
Cool.
we're waiting for a
No big-
final turnover.
And you want to make sure, yeah, those take just AA batteries and that those are actually on. So if the green light's not on them, those are playing off. But you'll know when it's off or on. And they're actually got battery level on the
For these
pack
rooms.
itself. So yeah. I thought that side was locked.
We have to open the right room.
Alright, so Matt's gonna show us here, right here, this is the MDF. So in this room, you guys need to control the Blu-ray players for those two dance and exercise units. They're actually located left and right here. I don't know if it's feasible for you guys to be able to all fit back here, but the two Blu-ray players are right here and right there. They're exactly the same as you saw in the fitness suit room right there, and then what you will see in all the classrooms as we go through those. Additionally, this is where the microphone receivers are. So if for any reason that you don't think you're connected to a microphone or whatnot, you can always come back over here and make sure that you accidentally didn't change the channel on the handheld mic or didn't do something to get off of it, because there is actual channel label on the front of the microphones. It shouldn't change, you have to pop it open to actually change it, but if you do, you can come back here, check the microphone on there, it'll say what channel it's on, then you can just set it to that channel. And I'll put that in my list here too for you guys. Yeah. I believe they're labeled by 122 and 124
Or 119,
or
yeah.
119.
You guys ready?
So what's it? Oh yeah, I was looking at these labels. So 122, 121. Okay. So we'll probably need to just print out some other labels actually on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just get a sticker.
I've got some stickers too in my backpack I can put on before the end of the day here. That's a good idea for you guys to know.
And then also the microphones as well.
Alright, we're gonna carry on to the classrooms. This room is cooler than it was yesterday. Okay, guys.
Got it.
You know, probably be able to figure it out.
Alright, so this is one of 3 classrooms that we have here on the premise. They're all gonna be the exact same setup, so we can kinda run through. The difference in this room is that the rack with the Blu-ray player and everything in, is actually located just behind the wall right here. A lot of them are actually in the back right of the corner. So you'll see that it has the same JVC player in the back right here as well.
Oh, the one on the floor?
Yeah, they're the same type looking racks that you saw in the fitness room in the front there. And in this room, because it is a classroom, it's not a like exercise room, you do not have any mics, but you see similar functionality. Every page has the same startup page. When you do start it up, the room will actually begin because this room doesn't have any functionality to be able to function with the microphone by itself. You do have your computer plates. So if you choose, it'll ask you right now. Right now, there's not a source input right there. So if it'll detect an auto source if there's a source selected. Right now, we don't have anything plugged into it. It doesn't really have control because it's from your computer. Same thing as the other rooms. USB, VGA, which follows your 3-point audio. So if you have VGA running out, you also have to use your 3.5 audio jack on the computer to run one of those old cables. Usually they attach the cables together with one little cord next to it. And then you get your standard HDMI, which you'll probably be using most of the time. I don't have a Blu-ray player, or I don't have a Blu-ray disc in here right now, but you will see the source button will kind of tell you when there's nothing in there that you need to go ahead and load something in there.
So if I did the plug for my iPad to the HDMI, it's gonna pop up there.
Yeah, if you plugged it right in there, auto source directly,
Mhm.
you can have it plugged in there as long as you're not selected on Blu-ray. If you
Okay.
do that, it'll override it.
Okay.
So, and if you're doing regular audio, well, and cable TV, I should say, which cable TV is not plugged in right now currently. Once you get cable TV, it's gonna be the same functionality. You know, you're gonna put it on, and you're gonna have to use whatever device, third party, to be able to control that one. So it'll probably stay on a similar channel. Audio, same thing on the left and right. You got your mute in the middle, unmute, it's a toggle. Blu-ray, computer, which just selects the 3 sources. It's very basic in these rooms right here.
Is there, I'm sorry, is there ever a need to interact with the projector up there?
You should never have to touch the projector there. Once again, there is that settings tab, just like in the other rooms that does the TV. They can turn off and on the projector, or raise the screen if you want to. So there is that functionality. Once you put that on here. So you'll see, you have the ability, if you decide that you want to turn off the projector and have the screen up to watch the HDMI by itself, which is playing the audio, you can go ahead and manually turn that back up again.
So if we are playing, a television and we're playing a DVD from our computer, we just put the HDMI there and it's gonna go like that?
So you put the HDMI in there, you turn on the system, and then you want to make sure that if you're not selected on another source or you're playing something else, because the HDMI, the Blu-ray, if you do have something in there, will show it as being a source. So you just want to make sure you hit computer, and that'll take over any source that you have right then, which will turn on the projector and automatically drop the screen down for you, so you're not sitting here, you know, trying to figure out how to turn it on.
And where do we put the laptops?
On a table.
Table in here.
So-
Oh.
so probably-
Yeah, the tables haven't arrived.
On the boat. That's a basic question.
4th of July.
If we wanted, not like we would, I don't know, maybe would say, would it have the capability of connecting to the microphone if we wanted to?
So if you wanted to plug in like a third-party microphone, you could find maybe like a RCA, one that has an RCA output jack, I'm sorry, a like 3.5 jack, and you could plug into the audio port that's on there.
Okay.
So, I mean, if that's something you have, you just need something that has like what your microphone, or sorry, your headset from 3.5 little cable.
We don't even have any here.
Huh?
Okay.
For class.
I know it's a.
This is a small classroom though.
The best person at saying trying to think of this, but it's, once you start to get to use it, it's gonna become second nature. You're probably gonna realistically use, you know, send your HDMI or your 3.5 headset jack. And they have cables, so have one in the car, I should probably back here just so I can show you guys, but it's literally just looks like a dual headphone set on each side, and each end, you plug right in, play your music, you know, do what you want there. If you wanna have something separately, like a microphone plugged into the other end of it, you just need back here and you select that as your podium feed.
Okay. The podium's coming Friday.
So,
Tomorrow?
What's the two sides for?
Okay, so if you were doing a production, you want to be able to make sure that you were watching what was going on out there, and you didn't want to have to go around and see on the other side of the stage, and you guys were trying to keep everything private. You have the functionality to control the room from both sides of the stage.
Okay.
So this room does have a divisibility wall in the front of it right there, if you look behind you. You can actually combine these rooms together to have the functionality of both rooms, or have it as just a single room and have separate presentations going on in both rooms. So, good example, we turn on this room.
Does that always come down every time you turn it on?
When you turn on the system and select the source. So you always have to be cautious to make sure that you don't have something sitting right there. It's kind of in a spot where it probably won't be having anything right there in front of it, considering the staircase right there. And one thing I did notice, which I did change functionality on for recently, was that when you're behind the stage, you can't really see the on-screen Blu-ray menu. Oh, I did take a DVD back here. No, I still have my DVD. So there is functionality when we're in non-combined mode on the back touch panel. So if we go over side here, these both touch panels will also track each other, so that if you're doing something on one side, the other person can see it over here as well. So right now I'm selected on Blu-ray. If you go to the other side, you'll see that if I select cable TV, you'll see the touch panel on the other side is doing the exact same thing. So that in case somebody's inside the room, you guys aren't trying to fight over which inputs you guys are going off at the same time. You can still if you want to, but it's just going to change both sides. So once again, they're labeled right here, stage right, stage left. That's the same functionality as the computer mode function. So that if you decide you want to choose the computer mode function, we do have a few extra options that we do give you on here. You want to make sure you're selecting the correct area. So we have the podium, which are those XLR jacks located in the floor right up on the left side. We have the stage left, which is on that side. If you're looking at the stage, or at the audience, I should say, it'll be your left. And then stage right, which they are labeled. And then we do have an additional and a secondary back room. If you are using, there's a wall plate under that last touch panel, which we'll go over in a second. You can go ahead and select either one of the inputs, and then that can be on the screen that you could be watching. So if you have a computer here, computer there, computer on the other section, or an XL audio system set up over there, you can choose each one individually. And that's under the computer functionality mode. In this room, under the settings tabs, you have the ability to control both the projectors. There's one right here, and then obviously one in the other room for when you're doing separate conferences or combined. So if you want to shut off one or control, turn on one, or for some reason you need to shut one off or raise the screen up, you can do that. We will have cable TV in here. It'll be the same functionality. This room actually contains two mics. We've got a lapel mic, which you saw me wearing earlier, just like we have in the dance and exercise room. And then we've got this handheld mic. We've also additionally got the audio functionality. If you want to ramp it up, you can control the mic, go up a little bit louder. And good mic usage is pretty much 12 inches away from your face, otherwise you're eating the microphone. We have the additional combined and uncombined functionality right here. This is where you would combine the room and uncombine the room. So if you were using separate mode, separate mode is basically using the room by itself. This is probably the most important part. So if you're running separate mode, what happens is you're only controlling this side of the room. Same thing on the other touch panel in the back. If you're in separate mode, that room is only controlling that touch panel for that projector in there. So let's say that wall is actually set up right there. The audio will only play in the back room for that section that's on that projector, and the audio will only play for this room that's on this section. If you're playing a Blu-ray player back to that back room, it'll actually only play in that back room and not in this room unless this room is actually turned on. So yeah, there's actually only one Blu-ray player for both rooms. So if you're gonna try and watch two different, you're gonna have to watch the same Blu-ray movie when you select Blu-ray in both rooms. When you're in combined mode, you can actually, whatever you select in either one of all three touch panels will control both of the inputs to each one of the projectors. It will not turn on the projector. So in case you wanted to put it in combined mode and listen to the audio, you'll need to go and make sure, if you want to control that back projector, you want to make sure that you put it on. Alright, so if I'm watching a Blu-ray, and I want to select, well, I already have that projector on, but you basically will be able to control that third party from each one of the touch panels, so you wouldn't have to. In single mode, it'll automatically start up, but in combined mode, you have to make sure you're following each other. So just be aware that that projector, if it doesn't turn on when you put it in combined mode, it's because it's not meant to do that. And that's the case if you want to play like something and you decide you want to cut off a presentation. You could actually go ahead and shut that off and not have to worry about that automatically turning on every time somebody hits a source up here in combined mode. Same functionality with audio on the right side of the screen, up, down, mute in the middle. Let's see. Microphone functionality, computer functionality.